Once the party settled in, Tails apologized formally. Knuckles chalked it up to a miscalculation and let it go for the evening. However, now that he'd seen Tails' true capabilities, he wouldn't hold back next time. Try not to sweat it, kid. I've taken worse and still come back swinging. Just try to be careful next time, okay? Can't teach you anything if I'm dead. Tails nodded in response. I will. It's a promise. Tell us more about this metal stuff Amy was going on about. I know it's a form of music, but I don't know much about it. Been kind of busy guarding the Master Emerald, so I don't really keep track of what's going on below. The main focuses in metal are the instruments. The guitars and percussion are super intense and loud. I think I heard some of it when you got here. Is it supposed to sound like strep throat? It's a vocal technique specific to more extreme styles. Black metal uses high shrieking sounds, while death metal's pitch is generally lower. Sometimes they swap and mix the two together, so it can be hard to tell which is which. When the genre first started, most bands used regular singing, but over time it got heavier and darker, which I guess isn't all that surprising once you recognize its history. What is its history exactly? It actually happened by accident. Geezer Butler, the bassist for Black Sabbath, played a wrong note and boom, heavy metal was born. Each wave experimented with new ideas and techniques until it became what we see today. Good old-fashioned trial and error. Guess I should have known. But how did you find it? Amy questioned out loud. Doesn't seem like the sort of thing you'd know about unless you heard it somewhere before. Sometimes stores will play the older stuff or market themselves to younger crowds, Tails explained. It's something you get more into over time. To an extent, the same thing happens with other genres as well. What's your favorite style? Sonic inquired. I mostly stick to punk. Never really paid much attention to the metal side. They were always kind of feuding back and forth. Didn't want to get caught up in all that, so I just stuck to what I knew. Probably melodic black metal. The melodic styles originated in Europe, particularly Sweden. It started with bands like Bathory incorporating British riffs that were actually kind of punkish in themselves. It wasn't until the early 90s Tiamat and At the Gates started focusing on atmosphere. The song structures became more intricate and gloomy sounding. After that's when things really took off. It was one of the most popular sounds for the remainder of the decade. Right, but what does that mean? What kind of songs do they write? Essentially, traditional death and black metal sound more evil, while the melodic variations are more sad. Oh, I think I get it now. You're saying it changes the notes and lyrics depending on the sound. Exactly. It's usually pretty easy to tell the difference. The melodic stuff just sounds more cathartic to me. Yeah, well, I figured you were always a little bit sad anyway. You didn't know your family, right? No, I can't remember anything. I don't either. We're the same in that regard. The difference is you've got a guardian angel now. Sonic pointed to Amy. She blushed but didn't protest. After all, it was true. That was the role she'd envisioned herself taking once this started. Tails had said he wanted to protect her, but he was the one who actually needed protecting. We're all a family now. It just took some time to find each other, is all. Yeah, Knuckles interjected. Cut it with the mushy stuff and let's whip up some grub. I'm starving here. Sonic saluted, heading to the kitchen to see what was in the fridge. Sir, yes, sir. You two warm up by the fire. It gets pretty chilly at night. Don't want you to freeze, 'cause the others will have my head if you do. Tails and Amy sat next to each other, conversing casually to help break the ice. Tails showed her one of the several game systems within his possession, a Nintendo 3DS. It was an older model with weaker lighting, but Amy found his game choice to be far more compelling. This one's a direct sequel to Shin Megami Tensei 4. You play as a guy named Nanashi who has to uncover the truth about what happened to the world. Humans are caught in a war between angels and demons, and you have to decide whose team you want to be on. Can I give it a try? Sure. You want to start from the beginning or play on my file? The beginning if it's okay. Of course. Just let me make sure the settings are good. You'll probably want to start on easy mode since it's your first time playing. Wouldn't want to kill your enthusiasm before you've even started. You can change the character's name early on if that's something you want to do. Would it be okay if I used your real name? I've always liked it better. You mean Miles? Yeah, I think it sounds more mature, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I guess so. I never really thought to ask, but do you like your real name? I've said it several times and you've never reacted differently, so I always assumed you were okay with it. I didn't know if it was your way of leaving the past behind like Shadow. Tails was just a nickname Sonic gave me since I was the only one who had two. No one actually ever made fun of my name. I think it's only fair, though, that you get to call me Miles. I use it for my research and legal documents anyway. I'm glad it doesn't bother you. You're growing up so fast, so I guess it's my way of seeing into the real you. You're so much smarter and wiser than I used to give you credit for. It's like I'm talking to someone my own age. Same goes for you. When we first met, Sonic seemed like the only thing on your mind, but the more we talked, the more complicated I found out you were as a person. Other than myself, I've never seen someone think so deeply about the world. I actually started seeing you more as an equal, even though your memorization skills were average. It humbled me and helped me see the strengths and weaknesses in others. I'm a more thoughtful person now than I used to be, and I owe most of that to you. I didn't even notice, but you're right. You're more compassionate than anyone I've ever met, and I can't wait to see the person you become when you're older. In fact, I think I'm more excited to see your changes than my own. I guess it's a weird quirk that happens when you care about someone. It's funny, I feel the same way about you. Tails placed his hand upon Amy's, gazing into her eyes tenderly. No matter what happens, we'll never really change. We'll only evolve into the people we were meant to be. I'd much rather experience that phase with you, because based on what I've seen, going through it alone only makes it so much harder. Yeah, I truly believe it does. Sonic watched from a distance, giving Knuckles a play-by-play of what he was seeing unfold. It's kind of weird watching people fall for each other, he muttered. You start realizing just how much they have in common. That's probably why things never worked out between you and Rouge. You mean other than the fact that she's a jewel thief? Take it from me, pal. Love is overrated. All you get is a broken heart in the end. You're wrong, Knuckles. What I'm looking at's the real deal. These two will be together until the end of their time here on Earth. Mark my words. It's a happily ever after in motion. I know because I never thought I'd see one. All I care about is my stomach. Come help me out so we can eat, you weirdo. I can't even tell who's more wound up right now. To think it all came down to this. Well, hurry up. I ain't gonna hold out much longer. Yeah, I'm coming, Grumpy. Did you just call me a dwarf? Maybe. What are you gonna do about it? Keep yapping and you'll find out. After dinner, everyone got ready for bed. They didn't have pajamas to sleep in, so they kept their regular clothes on. Tails offered to sleep on the floor so Amy wouldn't feel uncomfortable, but she assured him it was alright. I trust you. Sonic and Knuckles will be here anyway. They'll put a stop to any funny business. Isn't that right, boys? You got it, Sonic said confidently. I'm counting on you to keep yourselves under control. Even I get cranky when I don't get my beauty sleep. Still better me than Knuckles. We'll keep an eye on you till you're out, Knuckles agreed. Something tells me it won't take long the way things have been going. Amy and Tails nodded, cuddling next to each other while their friends turned off the lights. Using his fur to keep them warm, Tails stared into Amy's eyes even more deeply than before. No matter how tough he tried to act, he would always be weak. As he got older, the weight of the world was creeping in more and more, and his ability to resist was crumbling. Mankind was headed down a one-way trip towards destruction, and all he could do was watch, hoping and praying they would be able to shift course. What would become of their friends, no one really knew, but he'd value their time until the end. It was all he could do when facing overwhelming odds. Hey, Amy? Thank you for being here with me. Up until now, I never realized how lonely I felt, but the reality started to hit me. I may never be able to give you what you need, but I'm still going to try. I'll do whatever it takes to keep you by my side for as long as humanly possible. Admitting your weakness is the strongest thing a person can do. You're stronger than you think, Miles. I only hope one day you'll see it too. I promise I'll try. Let's get some sleep. Don't want to be too tired for our date this weekend, do you? No way, I'm with you. Sleep tight. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah, see you in the morning. Good night. Upon closing his eyes, Tails found himself back in the field. The couple's dream had picked up exactly where it left off. Against his will, his body moved closer to Amy's future self. Their lips met, and the fox awoke immediately thereafter. He wasn't shocked or scared like before. In his heart he felt it. The real and dream worlds were beginning to intertwine. They would be one and the same before too long, and he was okay with it. That was the thought that scared him, but even so his expression remained unchanged. Would he truly be ready when the time finally came? If so, what would come after? Surrendering himself to fate, he gazed upon Amy once more, stroking her quills affectionately. Once the last page had been turned, there would be no going back, and it would be up to him where to go from there. These were the last years of pure unsullied innocence, the days he would look back on remembering their simplicity. He'd always found it funny how time seemed to move faster the more aware people became, and it was about to speed up exponentially. Alright, Amy, you win. I'll be waiting for you on the other side.